Hello guys, this is Glenn from Sydney CBD or Paris Center, and today we have an ROG Phone 5 with a cracked display, and David is eager to replace this with a new one. So let's get to it. First thing we're gonna do is try to assess how we're gonna approach this problem. The back cover is intact, so no problem there, but we're still gonna take some precautions by wearing a thick glove here as we handle some broken parts of this smartphone. And we're gonna slice through the adhesive, agitating it with IPA. I'm gonna slice it with this plastic tool here, and as we lift this up, we're gonna be very careful not to damage that flex cable. To remove the flex cable, we're gonna need to remove this retaining clip that is held on by two screws. One is concealed under this tape. We're gonna lift that up and remove the screw. Remove this plastic clip. Lift up the connector, and the back cover is now officially off of the device. So we're gonna remove some screws on the main board. There's some clips on the other side as well. More screws underneath some tapes. Also have some metal brackets here. Some retaining clips for the connectors. So the board has a lot of connectors. We're gonna make sure it's clear so that we can remove it. Lift that up from the left side. I'm gonna slowly do this. And underneath that is another board. So you have your blue thermal paste to dissipate heat from the CPU and the GPU while you're gaming on this smartphone. It's pretty intense as you look at it. It's gonna have your standard desktop inside your smartphone. So you have your camera, then a battery, then two layers of boards, a battery, and then a daughter board at the bottom. So to remove the display, we're gonna lift up partially the bottom battery. We're not gonna remove that. We're just gonna lift that up from the left side. As you can see, it's very tricky. You have adhesive at the bottom, and on top you have some connectors that are blocking your way, so you need to be very careful when you do that. Now that's done, we're gonna try to remove the broken display here. Your standard affair. Just gonna do the same thing that we did on the back cover. We're not gonna reuse this display, we're gonna recycle it. So we're gonna use a bit of force to make sure we make this process faster. And as you can see, the flex cable is going through the housing, so that's why we have lifted up the bottom battery so that the connector for the display can just be pulled through that hole or slot of the housing. Now we're just gonna prep the housing by removing old adhesive and shards of glass here that's still remains, especially on this front camera. It's quite tricky. Just gonna skip over the entire process, but David has spent a lot of time cleaning up this portion of the smartphone. You have to ensure that there's no debris left, especially when you're working on tight tolerances here. So if you still have those shards of glass or old adhesive, the new display will not be fully seated on top of this housing. We're gonna put sufficient amount of liquid glue And then we're gonna lift up the battery again, because the connector for the display will go through the same slot there. And then we're gonna position it, make sure the flex cable is fully gone through that slot. I'm gonna position it exactly right, and then press that in. Remove that plastic cover. Inspect all sides, corners, and once that's done, we're gonna put back the battery, make sure it's seated properly, and then attach the connector for the new display. And it's time for us to reassemble everything and test if our operation has been successful or we damaged this ROG Phone 5 completely. I hope not. This is quite an expensive and rare smartphone, so it has to work. But no worries, because David here is an expert in doing repairs of various models of smartphone, but he's gonna do well for sure on this one. Lots of cables, antenna cables, it needs to be seated properly, and two retaining clips, each has their own pair of screws. Put that back in there. So if you're familiar with internal components of a smartphone, this is quite a different layout, and that's understandably so, because it's geared towards gaming and it's quite thick compared to your other flagship device. And when you hold that smartphone, it's quite heavy as well. And fortunately for us, the smartphone, the display are all working. The buttons, the cameras are all working. You're gonna put the final piece of the puzzle, which is the back cover, and we're gonna call it a day. If you have any questions on our repair services here, you can leave a comment down below, visit us or call us, and David will cater to your need. It depends on the diagnosis of your smartphone. Here's the before and after. It's all fixed. Thanks for joining, guys. We'll see you again next time. Take care. Cheers.
If you want your smartphone fixed for a very reasonable price, you may contact Sydney CBD Repair Center. We also provide mail-in repair services for customers outside of Australia or Sydney. Just message us so we can arrange the shipping of your device.